Hello. 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 I was going to, so I was just thinking just then about a new topic, about awareness and understanding. They're super interesting things to really think about. In particular, understanding. So, first of all, I'll talk about awareness. Awareness is just noticing things. That's all it is. Just noticing this, noticing that, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's you're being aware of it because you've noticed it, right? It's a really simple concept. But what does that mean? What does noticing mean? Well, noticing is just going, there's that, there's that, there's that. Oh, that's a thing that just happened, da-da-da. But contrary to what a lot of people think, awareness and noticing things doesn't really require more than a couple of words of thought. Like the most thought is, right now, I am driving. There's a silver car. The sky is blue. I'm on my way home. These are things that I'm noticing, right? I'm noticing that I'm talking right now, right? These are things I'm noticing, just observing, right? You don't need to define these things. You don't have to think about, I'm experiencing this. I'm noticing that I'm experiencing a particular thing, whatever that might be. Therefore, ... right? I am experiencing anxiety. Therefore, ... I'm noticing that I don't understand what this person is trying to teach me. Therefore, ... This is not everything past there, everything at therefore onwards is not noticing things. It's just thought. It's extrapolation. It's extrapolation beyond your experience. Right? And the next part is understanding. Understanding is both really simple and really complicated simultaneously. One thing is that you'll the first paradigm, the first perspective, I don't know the right word for it, is that you can only make sense of what is happening around you based on two things. One is your five senses. So what you see, what you hear, what you feel, all these sorts of things, right? You can't, unless you've got a sixth sense somewhere in your body, then that's about all you can really go from, can't you? So your whole experience. That's why that whole simulation theory is a really interesting one, because what if all your senses are forgeries? But let's not go down that. Let's just assume that everything that you experience via your five senses is about as accurate as it can be. Because as we all know, sometimes we mishear things. Sometimes we see things in the corner of our eye that aren't really there. Sometimes I've had times where I've even smelt something that wasn't there. It happens to me a little bit too frequently when something happens that turns out to be false. But that's all I have to go by. I haven't got anything else. I've got no other senses. I can't pull out my eyes and put new ones in yet. They haven't figured that out as far as I know. So, anyway, we've got our five senses. That's all we can go by. The other thing, the second thing, is what we already have experienced in the past, which basically kind of creates our map of the world, how the world works, where everything is, how it interacts with the other bits, what things mean, and all that sort of stuff. And through those things, through those two methods, we have understanding. But here's the thing, sometimes we formulate a concept or we formulate a belief that isn't exactly true. Or, sometimes worse, is when we formulate a belief, and a belief also means an understanding. Like we believe that I have long hair. I believe that I have long hair right now, and I believe that I have brown eyes, and I believe that I really like music and everything to do with it. So that's a belief. But sometimes our beliefs aren't accurate, and the problem with that is that every belief that we have, that we build, every time we experience a new thing, we build a belief upon that belief, that existing belief, right? So, as from a baby, I think from like 6 months or something, up until, whatever age we end up reaching, right? So, that's how our beliefs are formed. But and sometimes they're wrong and sometimes they're inaccurate. But you know what? The important bit is that constantly we try to be as accurate as possible. We try to find the ways in which to determine if the reality that we think we're living in is the true reality. If that the way that we see the world is in fact the real way that we see the world. If we start to see any discrepancies in the way that we see the world, we really should be investigating that and trying to tweak it into something more accurate. Or at least acknowledging that we're not always right, that we're not always accurate, that this is just your understanding with all this information that you've had so far, and that it could all be wrong. Your entire life could be a lie, right? Like, it's totally a thing. Like, that could be the case. Rightio. So, assessing. One example, and the example that brought me to make this video, was these friends of mine, and they have a very soft voice. And their soft voice is nothing to do with their anatomy. It has nothing to do with their anatomy, and everything to do with their belief system. It's psychological. It's actually psychological. They actually believe that they are yelling when in fact they are just talking maybe as loud as I'm talking now. Right? Maybe as loud as I'm talking now. I know so many people like that. And the interesting thing is that because that's like a subconscious belief, right? The subconscious communicates through feelings and behaviors in the body. And actually, when they speak loudly, they will actually constrict their throat. They will constrict their throat, making a tiny little passage, and you can hear it, because it's like, hey, hey, versus hey. It's like, hey, hey, hey. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like a constriction in the throat that it actually hurts after a while to talk like that. And I know, because I did that too. I thought I was always getting in people's way and I didn't want to be too loud. So my subconscious mind is literally pulling me back, literally grabbing me by the throat and constricting my air passages. So that even just then, even just thinking about it, even now, I'm talking with that voice. Because I'm reminiscing of that time when I used to like really constrict my voice. So maybe, and I wouldn't be so loud. Versus this, which is how I speak now. Where I actually speak from, it's a lower place. It's from more the diaphragm than it is from the throat. But here's the trick. Here's the trick of the mind. This is why it feeds into the belief that the person is actually speaking quite loudly. Is because to them, they are speaking so loudly that their throat hurts. It physically hurts them. If they talk, I keep feeling myself like constricting, like, because I keep thinking about it and putting myself into that mindset. But because it physically hurts, they feel like they're speaking so loudly that it must be loud because it hurts them. Like it's got to be loud, right? And then that's like a feedback loop back into their mind, and they feel, oh, I must be speaking loud, so don't speak any louder. Because if they tried to speak any louder, they would push even harder, and they would physically feel the air hitting the back of their throat and causing them physical pain, causing this sensation of pressure behind their vocal cords, behind their throat, or wherever the sound comes from, because of that constriction. But it's not true. It's inaccurate to reality. The reality is that they're quiet. I've had times where I've had someone sitting right next to me in the car, and we're having a conversation back and forwards, and I can hear the person in the back seat. Not in this car, obviously, but I can hear the person in the back seat quite clearly. But the person sitting next to me, I have to turn the radio down in order to hear them. The radio's not up that loud. It's just that their voice is just so constricted. They think in their mind and they feel in their body that they are speaking really loudly. When the reality is that they are speaking super soft, and they just think that they're speaking loudly. And that if you ask them to speak louder so I can hear them, speak louder so I can hear you, man, they'll be like, and then they'll put on their yelling voice, and they'll do it in a funny way. They'll be like, oh, you want me to speak like this then, huh? Again, that constriction in their throat. I hope you guys can hear that. Like, constriction? Hey, I'm speaking so loudly right now. Versus, I'm speaking so loudly like right now. And the other thing it does is it gives them this tone that sounds meek. It sounds quiet, and it sounds like, please don't listen to me. It sounds squeaky. It sounds high-pitched and so often nasally. Like, hey, Hey there! Yay! This is nasally! This is constricted! Right? The whole point of this video is the concept of trying to live in reality and not in this world that you've created. You know, I mean, there is a balance between standing up for what you believe in and believing what you believe strongly and confidently, so that you can be confident in yourself. But here's the thing, is to let go of the ego that wants to be right all the time, that doesn't want to be wrong, that wants to hang on to every little belief all the time, right? And you know, there's like this whole concept, and they're both stem from the ego of, you know, I'm wrong sometimes, so I should just blindly listen to everyone and take on everyone's advice all the time, and that way. And the other thing is, that way, if this belief is incorrect, then I can blame them, and they can take full responsibility. I can blame them fully, and I take no responsibility for their what they've just told me. I can sit back and not take responsibility for my life. I can just do what they say. The other side is, no, I'm not going to do that. I am right, and no one's going to budge me. Right? But that all stems from it's so complicated, but it all stems from the ego. The ego, when really you shed the ego, you shed it, and then all you're left with is, you know, sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. But I want to be right all the time. I aim to be correct all the time. I'm not going to give up on accuracy. And when someone gives me some information that makes a lot of sense to me, that I can roll with, and then I can improve my accuracy of how I see reality, then I'm going to be so thankful for that information. So thankful. I'm going to take it on board and love it, and be happy that I was proven wrong. Not because I was proven wrong, but because I'm now more accurate. That's another thing, like, oh man, I wanted this to be a 10-minute video. To have, where your beliefs come from, where your thoughts come from, is really important. So, being happy with someone giving you more accurate information, not because you are proven wrong, because sometimes that leads down a dark path, like maybe it reinforces a part of your brain that says that you're a piece of shit. Oh yes, I'm wrong again. I'm glad I'm wrong. I feel good that I'm wrong because I'm just a piece of shit, and that's proven me correct. It reinforces my subconscious or conscious beliefs that I am a piece of shit. When rather a more healthy place for that joy to come from is, I am glad I am now more accurate. It's that simple. I'm glad I'm now more accurate than I was a second ago. Because before I was less accurate than I am right now. That's it. Like, that's a great feeling. I want to be accurate all the time. Hold on to, I get joy from being correct more than I get joy from being not wrong or from being wrong. Which all sound like the same place, but it's all about the place it's coming from. And it'll change the whole way that if you can change the place things are coming from, the reasons why you do things, the reasons why you believe what you believe, then your whole life will change. So many paradigms in your mind are going to improve. You know, you're going to make better decisions in life because you're doing them to achieve different goals and to reinforce different types of beliefs. Everything will work out, as cliche as that sounds. So anyway, that's enough of that. I hope you enjoyed this silly little rant. And do let me know if you made it to the end. I'd be ever so grateful. Have a great day, guys, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye.